Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Talking God and Politics with Mark, Mike. That's me and my lovely wife, Denise. Mark, how you doing?
Hello. It's been a little bit.
It has.
Last week was hard to coordinate, so here we are this week. That's all right. You guys are busy. You got busy lives, jet setting all over the place. So,
Oh, yes, that's it.
Yes. Living the high life. That's what we're doing. But
it's been there's been a lot of interesting stuff going on. So
yes, there has. There's so many places I don't even know where to start. I guess we can talk about I thought that we had talked about it last time we were on. Maybe we didn't, but Trump's spiritual condition.
Yes. We talk about his advisor a lot, but I don't know if we went in depth on his deal. Last week I think he gave a tell that I don't think he's a Christian. That's my opinion. Michael Bloomberg did this back when he was running for president, and he came out and he said that there's no doubt that I'm going to be in heaven, because the reporter was asking him about his what he's done for gun laws and how he has helped to get guns off the street and all this. And he said, with all the work that I have done with that, he said, there is no doubt but he specified, if there is a God, what I've done for gun control, I'm at the front of the list, or front of the line.
Boy.
So that's why it kind of brought back when Trump came out here. I've got the video here. And this was August 19th. So yeah. All right, let's see if I can find it here.
He said something about this previous to the clip you're going to play, but it sounds like he's kind of doubling down on stupid. So can you share it, or do you need me to? Like
American lives. We're not losing American soldiers. We're losing Russian.
All right, let's go here. Let's see if I
want to end it. We're not losing American lives. We're not losing American soldiers. We're losing Russian and Ukrainian, mostly soldiers. Some people, as missiles hit wrong spots or get lobbed into cities like Kiev and towns. But if I can save 7,000 people a week from being killed, I think that's I want to try and get to heaven if possible. I'm hearing I'm not doing well. I am really at the bottom of the totem pole. But if I can get to heaven, this will be one of the reasons. Well, I think I saved a lot of lives with India, Pakistan. They were going at it. The planes were being shot down. That was going to be maybe a nuclear war if I let that go. And I did that through trade.
Well, maybe.
So yeah, he's saved about 7,000 people. And if he can get that done, he's getting into heaven, he thinks.
Well, I think where this is coming from is probably a lot of people are telling him, not because of the Ukraine war, but because of Israel. You've got blood on your hands, Mr. President. Like that.
He said,
that's what I would be telling him. And maybe that's where he's hearing that. And then he's trying to deflect it and transfer it over to the other war.
So here's what J.D. Vance said on the 20th after he came out.
If he's able,
I have never heard him, and I've known him for 30 years, longer than anyone in this room. I've never heard him talking about getting into heaven. What do we make of that?
It's very interesting. I've never heard him talk that way either. I actually got a message just before I went on from the priest who had baptized me, actually, and he said, and he's a younger guy, very smart guy. He's like, I really admired what the president said. And he said, basically, if he's able to make peace in Russia and Ukraine, I'll put in a word with a big guy.
That's probably not the kind of spiritual camp. My gosh, where do these people get their? We got, what's her name? Paula White. We got this guy's priest trying to make a joke out of it instead of giving him a serious conversation.
Right.
Salvation by grace through faith alone, through one man's sin. One man act of disobedience, sin entered into the world, but through the one act of obedience through Christ, righteousness comes to those who believe in his works and what he has done. I mean, there is no one around this guy that even picks up a Bible.
Honestly, I don't, I mean, he's obviously not a Christian. I don't think JD Vance is either. And now I'm even questioning whether Laura Ingraham even knows what she's doing, but.
Oh, she's Catholic.
Yeah, it's crazy.
They're all over
Fox News is Catholic.
Which is weird because it's pretty much run by a Zionist. And then they've got these Catholic shills on there, which typically Catholics are kind of against Israel and the Jews and know kind of what they're up to, but not at Fox. Fox is pretty much a propaganda piece.
Yep. So another rich guy thinking he can buy his way into heaven. There you go.
Yeah, or earn his way into heaven. Okay, well, I've got one that really struck me. Let me pull this up. This guy's been in the military for 20 years. I want you to listen to what his crime is. And I want you to go back to COVID and how COVID was addressed and how COVID was used to purge the military. Now I want you to look at what the new purge is for our military, which is disgusting and should outrage you.
So after 20 years of service in the military, yesterday I got pulled into an officer's office and counseled for posts that I have on my social media. During the counseling, they told me I'm under investigation as a threat to national security. When I asked for proof, like what the posts were yesterday, they refused to give it to me. They made me come back today to further go over stuff. They gave me the proof, and the proof they gave me are anti-Israel posts. Now, when I joined the military, I took an allegiance to support the United States of America. I did not ever take an allegiance to support Israel. But yet, I am deemed a threat to national security because I do not support Israel and their genocide against the Palestinian people. Yes, you heard that right. I am deemed a threat to national security because I don't support Israel's genocide against the Palestinian people. Since when does not supporting a foreign nation get a U.S. soldier investigated for being a threat to national security?
That's very troubling.
Yep.
Very, very, very troubling.
That is where we are right now in America.
Yes, this is the new COVID thing, where in COVID, your job was threatened, your health was threatened, everything was threatened if you didn't go that line, right? And now on the conservative side, it's you got to support Israel. If you don't, we're coming after you.
Yeah.
We're coming after you. And it's disgusting. Yeah. And I'm hoping that some of these Q people are right. I totally lost hope in that, and I think it's mostly horse crap at this point. Sorry, but yeah, I would really like to think that Trump is playing 5D chess and is trying to expose Israel and blah blah blah. But he made it pretty clear he wanted to go after free speech, and he's been defending those laws that are trying to get passed where you cannot criticize Israel or Jews, that whole anti-Semitism awareness act that passed. And then they're even trying to do more, come down on social media companies, which X has done. And
yeah, I've noticed some changes in X, not necessarily, I'm still getting most of the same feeds, but now they're putting which I have not seen this before, and maybe I missed it, but where right below the name they put
There's
if
now
this
more
is a satire, if this is satire or whatever. So they're calling out.
Well, that leads me to my next story, and here's a classic example of Elon Musk and X bowing down to the Israeli masters when it comes to censorship and free speech. Let me cue this up. Babe, there was an Israeli agent that came over here, works for BB in their cyber department, which is their propaganda department, very high up, works right under BB, comes here for a Nevada conference, is caught in a pedophile sting operation where the FBI or whoever is pretending to be an underage girl trying to solicit these adults. So this guy was caught with 7 others, and he was the only one that was let go and allowed to fly back to Israel. But that's part of the story. But as usual, the cover-up is sometimes worse than the actual original crime. And so let's play this out and let you think about this.
The cover-up story of Tom Alexandrovich, Israel's cyber chief, who was busted in a sting operation. Now the new details are out that Sean King was silenced by X. Suddenly in the middle of the night, all of his posts about Tom Alexandrovich had been removed. Turns out they were removed because the Israeli government asked X, will you take down all these posts? And X said, okay, we'll go ahead and do it. And the irony of it goes even deeper. The organization within Israel, the government agency that asked for X to remove the posts, was the very agency Tom Alexandrovich heads. So the cover-up just gets worse and worse by the minute. This is the post that Sean King put out there. In the middle of the night, Elon Musk deleted every single tweet I've made about Israeli Tom Alexandrovich that was arrested in Las Vegas for crimes against children. All of them, every retweet, every link to my articles gone. Those lawyers were told a government demand required us to remove the tweets, but they didn't tell the lawyers which government. And it turns out that it gets confirmed that Twitter admitted it was the Israelis that asked them to get rid of the tweets, and they complied. This was from Grok saying, yes, based on verified reports, X voluntarily deleted the tweets under doxing policies, likely promoted by Israel's cyber unit where Alexandrovich worked. This lacks a public U.S. legal mandate, effectively limiting scrutiny and indirectly protecting the accused from public exposure. So not only did he get away with this crime and get to run off to Israel, but then his same division goes and says, oh, and remove all of these tweets. This is like one of those cover-ups that reek of Epstein killed himself. It just so happened the cameras didn't work. It just so happened the guards fell asleep. It just so happened he didn't have a roommate. It just so happened that the U.S. attorney in Nevada happens to be an Israeli who happens to let go this Israeli, and then the guy happens to be the only one out of 8 that gets let go and allowed to go on a plane and passport not seized. It just so happens that all of the posts that people are making about the guy start to get deleted off of X because they just don't want you to know more about it. This is like a showcasing of the Epstein saga on a small scale, and it just goes to show, look, you're covering for anybody in a position of power who's probably spying on people, gathering a bunch of information. You're going to let the guy go. And that's why you let him go, because he was one of your spies, your cyber spies, just like Epstein was one of your spies. I mean, it's just, just ridiculous. They just think we're stupid.
Yep.
Yeah, this won't be the last thing that happens. People,
No.
so many people have had enough now. They're not fooled. They're not fooled.
It's not on the news. People are outraged on X. I mean, Ian Carroll, because FBI agent Kash Patel put out a tweet that said no one is above the law, and then Ian Carroll posted it, unless you're a pedophile spy and you work for Israel, and he got all kinds of comments. So the outrage there, this is not new. Israel is known for protecting pedophiles. This is a massive pattern that takes place. We catch them here, they're let go, they're allowed to go there and seek asylum, and nothing ever happens to them.
Yeah, I was trying to find it. Actually, I saw it and I thought I bookmarked it, that the Department of Justice actually came out 2 days after this happened and mentioned that though he was let to leave the country, no charges have been filed yet, blah, 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 which was totally, and now it's just totally disappeared. I wish I would have bookmarked it to see it, but I didn't.
Yeah.
But the Justice Department came out and commented on this.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I saw it. I should have bookmarked it.
Oh, what did they give, like 10 seconds to it?
Yeah, they just put a little blurb out on X that basically said no charges have been filed. He was free to go to blah 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 or something like that. Like he was free to leave, and then if he understood that if any charges will be brought against him, he will come back.
No, we won't.
That was basically what they said.
Oh, wow.
No, we won't.
Wow.
They don't ever send those who claim
they don't.
Israeli who are charged with pedophilia or sex crimes. They don't ever send them back, ever.
Yeah. If they can give us one example of one that was brought back and actually faced justice, maybe we could believe that, but
right.
Obviously that's not the case.
Yeah, I was going to see if Zero Hedge actually had something on it, but I'm not seeing it.
Well, yeah, I don't know if I can pull up this footage. I tried to, but it's timing out. Let me see if I can. But have you seen the video of where the Israelis bombed a hospital? That happens all the time, and they deny it. And then they're in the middle of the rescue, trying to save these people, right? And live on TV, Israel bombs the crap out of the people who are and Bibi says it's a mishap.
Yeah, whoops. We're investigating.
Another one of those mishaps. Let's see if I can pull this up, because as you can see, it's just spinning. But sometimes if you go to someone's now, I wonder if that's on purpose or not. But this is horrible. I mean, right after this guy waves, all these people right here who are trying to rescue people are blown to pieces.
So they blew the hospital up in the first place. They waited for the rescue to get there. They waited for civilians to actually get there and help, and waited for journalists to show up, and bombed it again a second time on live TV.
Yeah, they are trying to remove all journalists that report negatively.
Children.
I mean, it is open season over there.
Speaking of open season, and Mark, you've brought this up before, of all of the footage on the internet as far as what Israel's up to. Watch this. And we've known this for a while, but
the next day they're all shot in the elbow. The next day they're all shot in the knee or in the heart. And what's happening here is the Israelis are shooting them for fun, for target practice.
Children being used as target practice.
Game of target practice. We're going to shoot the head today. Tomorrow it'll be the chest. Just like the Nazis in Schindler's List, killing the little girl in the red coat. That's what they're doing. They're burying them alive. And they're starving them to death and then forcing them into mobs and then machine gunning them. Right? If this was a movie, you'd say it was too over the top. It's too fake. It can't be true. This is exactly how they are. And it's exactly how they treat the Palestinians. They do not recognize their humanity. They are N-words. They are gooks. They are goyim, grasshoppers. And that means it's okay to kill them. All of them.
All right, now, Mr. Trump, if you're going to hell for damn anything, that's what you're going to hell for. And I'm laying it out, pure and simple. I don't give a shit how many Russians you help. You're letting these people die because you're a coward to Benjamin Netanyahu. And I don't care what you do on the economy. I do, but good grief. I want a leader that has a backbone, that understands scripture, that has boldness and courage, and understands what righteousness is. And this disgusts me that he is Bibi's bitch. And I hate to use that kind of language. I just don't know how else to express it. Other than that, it is thoroughly disgusting.
Well, I was on the fence about sharing this, but I'll go ahead and show it in light of what you just did here. All right, Mike, you're gonna. Oh, there it goes. There we go.
In the water. Mother.
I can't.
So exactly what you just brought up is exactly what they're doing. And I said that because the Anthony, whatever his name was, when I was talking about, he went on Tucker. He was there. He was here, and he saw it.
Right.
He saw it. And what they, and I don't know what this was. This was probably just, them trying to have a good time, or what they thought was, to them having a good time. I don't know. But yeah, it's happening. They call it crowd control. And this is what that Anthony, whatever his name was, is how they keep crowd control. But I don't know what that was.
That's what, yeah. And we've talked about it before. They will shoot a little kid, wait and wait and wait, hear the screams and the agony of the parents.
Draw the parents out.
Wait. Oh, no, wait. They let the dogs come first, babe. They let the dogs come and start eating the little girl while the parents scream. And then when the parents come out and had enough, they shoot them. Yeah. These people are disgusting.
It's all on the internet. I don't know how anybody can deny any of it. And Netanyahu came out and said, well, this is all social media algorithms. They're that are designed to lie and distort the truth of what's really going on. Look, I know there's people out there that still believe, no, none of this is happening, but it has got to be a minority at this point. It has got to be a minority, because this stuff is all over the place now.
If you're watching the Zionist-controlled news and you go to some mega church, evangelical, dispensational church with the fog machines and your skinny jeaned pastor there that's going to give you a 10 series sermons on dating and finding friends in life, you probably and if there's anything about the Bible, it's how we got to support Israel. And
I'm talking about rational thinking people, Mike. Not
these are supposed to be
not skinny jean wearing fog machine weirdos.
There's a lot of them, unfortunately, Mark. Unfortunately.
I know. Oh yes, and they all seem to come out of Texas. What is up with that? Florida and Texas. Florida and Texas. You drive through Texas or Florida, those mega churches are everywhere.
Oh, I know.
True.
It's so sad.
Asheville has a lot of them too. I'm just saying.
Oh, really? Well, I went through Asheville. We were there a couple of years ago. We went to Black Mountain, and it just seemed like a real liberal place to me. It seemed more of like a bunch of,
it is,
very,
very liberal. Yes.
Hippies and atheists or whatever. They make great beer though.
They do. Lots of breweries.
Yeah. A lot of breweries, good beer. The water's very good, man. That, on Black Mountain, that was like some of the best water. I was like, man, this is great.
Babe's going to introduce this.
All right. So, Ty, we've got some children, adult children who would like to be looking at buying their first home. So now we're going to discuss why that's not going to be a reality for them.
They buy a whole housing, like a 500 house division.
BlackStone.
And they're going to get those at a huge discount because they only make 5 models and they buy everything in bulk. We might have had to pay $500,000 for it. They're getting them at $300,000. Okay, they buy 500 houses at $300,000. Okay, they put them all in a portfolio. They could flip that through a secondaries market, but even better, they could hold those houses for a year. Don't let anyone move in. Keep it looking like a construction zone. Okay, and then a year later, they sell 3 of those houses that they bought for $300,000 to themselves in another fund for $700,000. And that creates 3 comps in the neighborhood. They do one of each of the models. Okay. And now the entire neighborhood, each house is valued at $700,000. And then they're going to turn them into obscene rentals. And simultaneously, they're going to have a double and a half value on that portfolio to borrow against.
Right.
And every American in that community was just priced out of everything around that community.
They're so smart. Aren't they just so smart the
They're
way
so
they do this?
disgusting.
They're so just clever the way they do this, isn't it?
Pretty.
Yep.
Yeah. Which, by the way, BlackStone, it basically was BlackRock, but the government told them that they were a monopoly, so they broke off, called themselves BlackStone. But don't think for a second that it's not all just one big thing.
Well, there was a guy that didn't have a large following at all, and he asked Grok, why is BlackRock allowed to buy single
family homes.
And it came back that, oh, that's a lie. And yet he got millions and millions of followers or hits on that video. And he's like, this is weird. Why is this drawing so much attention? And he investigated it further and found out that because BlackRock's reputation for this is there, what they did, the get around is that BlackStone is just another one of their shell companies, right, in their portfolio. But it is true, but technically it's not, because they find these little loopholes.
Yeah, because it's not BlackRock, it's BlackStone.
Reputation.
Yeah.
Yes, you're right. Yeah, they were considered like a monopoly, broke off. So basically, BlackRock just bought when publicly traded company just bought all the stock. Now they basically own it. Which Ian Carroll, I don't know if you guys follow his channel. He did a great job on talking about that whole thing and how, that almost all of the big companies in the United States are owned by, just a few companies. And BlackRock, he went into in depth on how BlackRock owns that, and State Street and some others. Man, it was it's really good. But yeah, they're buying up all the homes. In fact, I had a buddy sold his about 6 months ago, and he held out. He was not going to sell it. He had two companies offer him top dollar, and he said no. He was going to hold it for a single family. And actually, my wife and I, her mother died, and we had one of her houses in the same thing. Now, they didn't approach us, but we had already made the decision that we would not sell it to anybody but a family that wanted it. And thankfully we got that. But yeah, he got top dollar, and he said nope. And they two companies offered him a crazy amount of money for it.
Right.
Well, it's that whole what was it that they said you'll own nothing and like it?
Be happy.
You'll own nothing and be happy.
Be happy, yes.
Yeah. I get texts all the time from large companies wanting to know if we're interested in selling our property.
Yeah, I got one. I was getting a lot of them back about 2 years ago. And I always, when it was a text, it would come in. I would say, yes, $1 million and not a penny less. And so sure enough, got another one, but they faked me out because I thought it was a East Tennessee number. So I answered it. And yeah, I said, yeah, sure, I'll sell it $1 million. I'm not taking a penny less than $1 million. Okay, thank you. Click, hung up the phone. I was like, you put the $1 million in my hand. And in fact, I told her, I said, we can sign the contract today. $1 million. I'll sign it today. You can have the house. I'll move out tomorrow.
Well, babe, on some health news, Kennedy is announcing what? About autism.
I guess he's been looking into autism, and I guess he's going to make some announcements starting in September about some of the findings concerning, quote, interventions that have been linked to autism. So
we've always known that vaccines cause autism. I mean, you cannot ignore the evidence. I mean, it used to be like 1 in 1,000, 10,000 were autistic. Now it's like down to like 1 out of 10 or some crazy.
In California, 1 in 12, every 12.5 boys is diagnosed as autistic.
And the
Yeah,
only
his
thing, I mean, other than the crap that they're putting in our food and water all the time
And our air.
and our air, is the vaccines. And oh man, all the mercury and all the crap that they put in there. I'm surprised that kids are even alive after they take, what, 70?
Isn't it amazing what God will still do through our bodies?
Yeah, through our immune system. Wow.
Everything
Being
that
poisoned.
we do.
Yeah.
It is absolutely amazing to me.
Yeah. So his VP was, when he was running, his VP, I forgot her name. She's
Shanahan, Nicole Shanahan.
She was a big proponent of that because she saw her own child go through that.
Yeah.
And, being from California, she got, shunned. But of course, she's, married one of the guys that started Google. So she's okay. But to see, we're going to see what RFK Jr. is going to do, because he's big on that platform. I hope he's going to not pull any punches. I get it. It's the government. It's going to take a long time to get things done, but hopefully he will not pull any punches and it'll be legitimate, because yeah, it's just been going on for too long. It's crazy. Even when I had kids, we didn't, there were a lot of vaccines that were optional, and we said no, and they wanted to do them all at one time too. And it's like, what? I was like, no, we're not doing that one. We wrote some off the list. We were like, nope, not doing that.
This is a serious issue that even affects families. Like I had studied it. I was taking an herbology class. So I had read, one of the textbooks was kind of a history of vaccines and everything. And so I had studied it, right? And this was like 15 years ago, before I met my wife, who was a nurse at the time. And we get married. We have a daughter. And so this is a conversation that we have to have, right? And she was like, no, I'm kind of for vaccines. And so
let's be clear. I wasn't kind of, I was very traditionally taught through nursing school. So he's trying to lighten it.
It was, there was a lot of fireworks in our marriage over this.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah. And my husband was right. But when I go back and I think now, when I took microbiology, and I actually did a paper on vaccines, and the conclusion that I came to, which was very interesting, because I put it all aside. Like, there's so much that you have to do and learn, and you put so much aside just to be able to maintain and keep up. But what I remembered when I did this particular paper was that I could not find a single vaccine safety study on children. It was all on dogs. That was one thing that I had to sit down and really think about and absorb and remember. And the second thing was that vaccines didn't seem to have as much effect without the sanitation, right? And so you have to go back and start looking at when the decline of of diseases naturally, there's ebbs and flows of everything, but the decline happened once sanitation was brought into the picture in our big cities, in our communities, right? So you have to put those pieces together and go, okay, this is clearly not a connection that they want you to make. And so why is that?
And one of the big things, being a debater and watching a lot of debates myself, there were like 4 or 5, I don't want to say anti-vaxxers, I guess that's just the term, people that were doctors, scientists that believed the vaccines were harmful, and they were going to debate the best of the vaccine proponents, the doctors, the scientists. A lot of people were looking forward to this debate, and at the last minute, the vaccinated group decided they weren't going to debate. And
kind of like your climate change group.
Yeah.
They refuse to debate.
And we're not go on propaganda, and the propaganda is the science is settled, right? Just like the COVID vaccine, all of the science is settled. Climate change, science is settled. So it is with vaccines. Science is settled. We don't have to debate you.
Now, was it all vaccines? I've never met someone that basically says across the board all vaccines are bad. I mean,
I wouldn't take a single one. You can pull up now. It would take me a while to find it, but every now and again it pops up, and I tend to send it to my daughter, where the list of ingredients are there.
Oh, so there's been vaccines around since like the time of Benjamin Franklin. What you're saying is that these vaccines and how they preserve them, because that was the big thing with a lot of the chickenpox vaccine and even the flu vaccine, was they were keeping them in eggs or something, and it was something they were putting in it to keep them from going bad. It was a preservative that actually turned things to where it was causing autism and other things that they couldn't.
You're talking about mercury and thermosol. Thermosol is just another.
Yeah, mercury was another one. Yes.
And then they changed it and said it's thermosol. It's not actually mercury. Well, that's bull. Thermosol is mercury. However, there are other ingredients like SV40 cells, which are monkey cells, but they're cancerous monkey cells. And that's what they're incubating this in. So what kind of DNA do you think is going to be inside of these? And you're putting these fragments of DNA into our newborns and into our infants?
Yeah, dude, even the flu shot is crap. I mean, there's very little science behind the vaccines at all. And I'm really thankful that Kennedy's in there. And
it should be good. It'll be interesting to see where he comes out on this stuff.
Yeah, Tulsi Gabbard is a star in the administration so far. And I think Kennedy had a rough start, but Kennedy has got a lot to work through, man. I mean, all of these institutions have been taken over for many, many years, and he's starting from scratch. And so, we'll take the win when we can get it.
Well, how many people did he let go? It was like, was it 1,000? I want to say 600, or 6,000, but I don't think it was 6,000. I think it was like 600 or 1,000 that he let go. That tells you how bloated the CDC and the health department is. It's just,
it's over bloated. They're overpaid. But I came across a video actually right before we came on where it talks about the fact that, and this was a whole panel of medical scientists admitting to the fact that childhood vaccines do not stop transmission, that they are hopeful that we are getting to a place where vaccines will stop transmission. And the person that reposted it was like, what? Wait a minute. This was what we were told. We've been told this the whole time.
That's why they're mandatory.
That's why they're mandated.
That's why our kid can't go to school. Yeah.
Yeah.
Load of crap for a long time.
Yeah.
Well, Mark, I was curious about the timing of what I'm going to bring up next. And I brought it up to my wife. She didn't seem to agree with me, but I'm interested in your thoughts. And I knew this was going to go in one of two directions, and it went in the direction that I thought it would. Okay, so a law was just passed. Can't do anything to any Israeli flag. Okay? You can't burn it. You can't write on it, because that is a people, and it's a symbol of people, and that's a hate crime. It's against the law now to do anything to Israel's flag, a country that is not our country. We can't burn the Israeli flag. Now, that puts Trump in a little bit of a corner because, he's already being exposed to being the Israeli shill that he is. So
I think you said goy bitch. Is that what?
Maybe I said that. Maybe. But anyway, so now Trump's come out with a law that I even find not constitutional, where if you burn the American flag, you go to jail for a year, no questions asked.
Yeah.
You think he's trying to compensate for, instead of having the guts and the courage to say, no, you can burn the Israeli flag all you want. There's not. We're free Americans, and that's free speech. You can do that. I'm going to overturn that law. Then he's like, well, no, I can't do that. I might get BB pretty mad. I don't want to, I'm his main girl, and I don't want to mess that up. So what I'm going to do is to kind of balance it out, because I'm the president that's going to make America and Israel great again. Remember, that's what he said. I'm going to make America and Israel. This guy's ego. I mean, he's got a Messiah complex. I don't know what he's thinking.
Yeah, his ego's huge.
Yeah.
So it wasn't one of the main points in his campaign, but he did mention that he wants to outlaw burning the American flag. He had said it many times on Fox. He had said it a couple times as he was campaigning across the United States. So it's just one more thing that he's doing. The funny thing is that you say, you can't burn a flag that and honestly, I didn't realize this when you said because the Israeli flag symbolizes a people, it's a hate crime.
What does the American flag symbolize?
And it's so funny because that sounds just like what a lawyer. Yeah, that's exactly how a lawyer would spin that. Whereas the American flag, I mean, anyway, he campaigned on that, so he wrote an executive order to do it. I think it's stupid, but whatever.
I think it's stupid.
I think it's unconstitutional. I like it. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I hate it when they would kneel, and when the flag's raised and everything else, and they're pledging allegiance and all that stuff. And I hated to watch the liberals burn the American flag. I hated to see these illegals come over here and burn our flag and take all of our money and free welfare and get set up in really expensive hotel rooms while they're burning our flag. That disgusts me. But my love for the Constitution and the First Amendment has to trump that, because it's a slippery slope.
Yeah, I mean, even with an executive order, it's all it's going to take is someone with enough money to do it and then take them to court and ride it, all the way to the Supreme Court. But it's an executive order that'll be overturned, I'm sure, with the next president, unless it's JD Vance. He may keep it on there, but it's dumb. It's so dumb.
It is dumb. Babe, you've got some information. We call balls and strikes when it comes to Trump. If Trump's out of line, obviously I'm going to have something to say about it. But when Trump does something good, I'm going to say something good about it too. Babe, there's some news that's coming down the pike that we know that Black Lives Matter, Antifa are going to start trying to burn down America again.
True.
And kind of start a little civil war here. There's been rumors of that. And babe, is there a coincidence that Trump's doing some stuff with the National Guard?
The National Guard, the 19 states where Trump is putting the National Guard, just coincidentally happen to be the states where the largest DUMBs are found. So the deep underground military bases are found. When you match up the map, they match those states. So does that mean something? I don't know. But I do think that we are getting ready to see probably some arrests happen. I guess there was a press conference with Tulsi Gabbard today where Trump was talking about when are things going to come out about the 2020 election, so forth and so on. We know that Soros is already out there, and there are, riots that are planned. So I don't think,
because he said he was coming to Chicago and then he's going to go to New York City and LA.
He's going to clean them up the same way he cleaned up DC. So I think today there was a homicide in DC in over a week. It was the first one. There are so many videos out of young Black people talking about thanking Trump for making their city, DC, safe again. Like they actually feel like they can walk around in DC, safely with their wallet, with their watches, and not have to worry.
But wait, Trump is a racist, babe. Trump hates blacks so much that he's protecting them and causing their their murder rate to go down. So that's just really proving he's a racist, right?
So I think from a political theater standpoint, I want to sit back and watch, because it's going to be hilarious if he rolls into Chicago and tries to do anything. The problem is it, what kind of precedence does it set for the next president that comes in?
But he legally can do it.
Now, legally, he can. DC, he can.
Well,
constitutionally, he cannot do that.
I've heard constitutional lawyers that are very conservative, very pro-constitutional lawyers, and they have said he can. I don't know the exact clauses and everything, but he can. He does have the authority to do that.
The only way is if the lawyers spin it that it is a national emergency.
Well, and he has.
And if he comes into Chicago, you will watch. That is exactly what he will say. It's a national emergency.
Well, don't you remember? I mean, I got angry. Yeah, I got angry. You saw me. I mean, I got upset over everything, the COVID vaccine, but futurist Israel. But my blood pressure went up, when the Summer of Love, and we watched Antifa just shoot a Christian guy in the head. And where was Trump? I was so pissed off because Trump is a pragmatist.
I didn't see that.
He listened to the goons around him and said, this won't look good. Leave it up to the governors. And in a normal,
he did say.
In a normal condition, yeah. But when the governors are libtards and they're communists and they want their cities to be burned down and BlackRock to come in and buy up everything. Mm-hmm. All right.
Malibu.
Yeah.
Maui.
Yeah. Not exactly. Smart cities. So yeah, he's got the power to do. And he said this round, he said he learned his lesson and he's going for it. He's not going to take any crap. And hey, on that level, my hat's off to you, Mr. President.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I think it's going to be entertaining is because, I mean, he's going to do something that obviously the elected officials haven't been able to do for a long time. But the people that live there deserve everything they get. That's what they vote for. So for me, it's going to be interesting to watch. But
in Chicago, where the mafia pretty much runs that city and have rigged elections forever, do you really think that they're voting for? I mean, I understand what you're saying. In some of these black cities, it's been so ingrained in them to vote Democrat. But at the same time, the elections have been so rigged for so long. I'm kind of trying to figure out how to balance that out. And Trump knows that. So
I mean,
I think if there is proof that the elections were rigged, you look at the mayor of Chicago. Mm-hmm. I can't argue whether the mafia put him in there or not, but he is a complete moron. Mm-hmm. And people have actually gotten tired of it. And you saw him in these these meetings, just going off on him. But if they're rigged, then fine. I understand that. But I still have to side with, look, you vote, you get what you vote for. And as H.L. Mencken said, and I hope you get it hard.
And I understand that, but I think that we have to really go back and consider for how long the Democrat Party has gerrymandered districts and congressional districts. How long has that been going on?
Right.
And when you are talking about gerrymandering congressional districts, when you're talking about gerrymandering to get people in local offices that they want in local offices, are the people really voting for them?
So is it legal for the FBI to investigate that, or maybe the Secret Service, or I don't know the legality of what federal agency can investigate that, but that's what needs to be investigated.
So I'm hoping, especially when you have high profile cases, like I'm hoping Tina Peters will be in Colorado, right? Who went in and did her duty as the head of the elections in her particular county, you know, and got the hard drive and then was put in jail.
Yeah, that's horrible.
I mean, she's a gold star mom. She did her constitutional duty in protecting the election, thrown in jail, and she's now very sick and probably approaching her 80s, if not in her early 80s.
Yeah.
She needs her
Trump
testimony.
needs to pardon her. I don't know what the hell
She needs to be put in protective custody because she can pull a whole lot of stuff down with her testimony and what happened in Colorado. But if we see it there, and we know that Gavin Newsom is now trying to change and gerrymander his districts to counter what's being done in Florida and Texas, do we not think that this is a wide problem that has really affected elections for a long, long time?
Oh, yeah.
Well, he's getting scared too because, you know, they're going to redistrict California. So many people have left that it could go back Republican again. So I think he's scared. He's freaking out.
Oh, yeah.
At the same time, I think he's going to run for president. And unfortunately, I think he's going to have
he's going to do well. Backing. I mean, he's, you know.
He's very slick.
He's very slick.
Well, he's related. He's related to Pelosi, so he's got the whole mafia behind him.
Mob connection.
Right. He's got the communists, the mafia behind him. Yeah. So, but I mean, I don't know what he's going to run on. He's got no record. He's destroyed California. So, yeah. I guess
in fact, I've got so he's got the highest poverty rate, cost of living adjusted, highest homeless rate, 171,000 people, highest unemployment rate, 5.2%, highest gas prices, highest housing cost, 53% of students below English proficiency standards, 64% of students below math, 65% of students below science, highest taxes in the nation, 20 to 30 billion annual budget deficit. Insane.
Mark.
Insane. And the list goes on.
But Mark, you know what? He's actually very successful. He's very successful because this is the Cloward and pivot strategy. It's the whole communist thing. You tear down everything, you destroy it, and then you build it back better. And by better, they mean communist. So he's doing his job, just like Biden did his job. He wasn't, you know, an imbecile. He actually was doing what his puppet masters were telling him, and that's
right.
So they're not, so they're not stupid. And actually, Alex Jones came out criticizing Trump, and I applaud him because Trump constantly does this. Oh, the previous presidents, you know, they didn't know what they were doing. No, they did know. Obama knew exactly what he was doing, and Trump knows that because he's pissed off about it. Trump has, this is what irritates me about Trump. He has the podium. He has the megaphone. He has the capability of instructing and teaching the public what the globalists are about, what's really going on, but he never does it really. And it's just, it irritates me so much because so much could have been done when he was the 4 years he was out, but he was playing golf. He could have been writing a book, you know, going over all of this and what's really going on. But no.
Yep.
Oh, well, we got 7 minutes. One more thing.
Answer. Someone was wondering.
I want to bring something else up.
If you would watch Gary DeMar last night.
Yes, and I'll say something about that in a minute.
Okay.
Okay, so Trump made a decision after knowing that China brings in spies all the time, especially through the colleges. And I don't know what's going on there. I don't know if there's some kind of mineral deal. I don't know what, because he has to have some big concession from China to allow this, because it's just a known fact that these Chinese college students are spies, a lot of them. And he's
I don't know what's going on there.
He's justifying it that, well, our colleges would go under. financially if we
No.
cut that
Well,
off.
look.
That's his justification.
Hey, look, most of those colleges need to go under. Okay.
That's my thought.
But I don't know what's going on there. And he said that that's not it. There is something underlining going. We're gonna see how this plays out, but something is not right about that. Something's rotten in Denmark.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And he's like, oh, me and Xi are getting along so well. And I don't think Trump's that stupid. So you're right. There is something else going on. Okay. Someone asked a question about Gary DeMar. Gary DeMar was asked to go to Moscow, Idaho, where where Doug Wilson is a pastor there. He's a partial preterist. I've challenged Doug Wilson to a debate. He said he would, then he backed out of it. Then we were going to have a movie documentary where myself and Don Preston were going to ask questions, and it was all going to be filmed professionally for the partial preterists, and they would be able to ask questions of us, and it was going to be a dialogue, and and a lot of people wanted to see that happen. Well, then he backed out of that. Okay. And Doug was a part of a group that criticized Gary DeMar for just asking questions about the resurrection, hinting that he probably believed it was more spiritual and that it wouldn't involve a physical bodily resurrection at the end of world history. And so
is that what the whole thing they signed?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the three questions involved. Number one, do you believe in the bodily return of Jesus? Okay. So Acts 1:11. Do you believe in the resurrection, the physical resurrection of the body? That was number two question. And then the third one had to do with, do you believe at the end of time, all men are going to be judged at the final judgment? And Gary, and so they kind of had him on the show. It was kind of an ambush, I thought, to be perfectly honest. I mean, I wouldn't have gone unless I said I had it in writing that I get to ask you questions, or I'll go in a formal debate setting so I know that my time is allotted to me and I can cross-examine you. Because when you do an interview like that and there's three guys on the panel,
right,
they're gonna hit you at this question, and right as you're done answering it, another one's gonna fire at you,
right,
and you're not gonna have time to build your case.
right.
And
I don't know why he did it.
Ask them questions. I don't either, but he did, and that's all right. And he actually made some really good points that I think their audience needs to think about. But I said, hey, why don't these guys come on our show, Preterist Apologetics with Don? We got some questions for them, and I asked Gary before this came out, I said, well, did you have the ability to ask questions of them? And he said, well, we didn't have time. Well, they didn't have time because they were too busy peppering Gary with the questions they wanted. That's why they didn't have time. So it was unfortunate, but I think some good things are going to come out of it.
Yeah, some Eschatology Matters popped up on X around that, and I tried to figure out who they were. Their bio didn't make any sense, but they called full preterism Gnosticism.
Oh yeah, because Mark, I just called you the other day, and I said, you know what, Mark? I think the physical creation's evil, and I think the body is evil. And Mark, I've got this secret knowledge that I've been wanting to tell you about, that I kind of downloaded from the spirit realm, and it's telling me that not only is the physical creation evil, but everything spiritual is good and superior. Don't you remember us having that conversation?
Yeah. Well, so I almost jumped on the bandwagon. I follow a guy called American Pirate. He's a full preterist, and he jumped all over it. And I just clicked on that Eschatology Matters, and their bio didn't even make sense. And I'm like, they're just trying to trigger us to get involved. And I told them, I was like, dude, just stay out of it. I don't know what their agenda is.
They're just censors. They'll censor full preterists, call them heretics. They never debate us. They'll debate any other group that they label heretics, but they will never debate full preterists.
No,
which
they
shows you
can't.
that they're cowards, and
Yeah.
there are probably some other adjectives that are running through my head.
Yeah.
But yeah, I get just really disgusted with those. I call them hypercretalists. It's amazing how the Reformation had so many good things going for it. And then I look at the modern day reformers, and they would be right there with John Eck saying, but Luther, this hasn't been taught in our traditions and creeds and councils, because that's their number one argument against us.
Yeah.
And it's
they even lined that up too. They were like, but the creeds. And I thought, man, why is it that so many people, like I was talking to a futurist, my pastor, and we don't, in Church of Christ, we don't call him that. But anyway, I was talking to him, and he's like, yeah, but the creed's this, but the creed's that. And I'm like, man, I didn't say anything, but I thought, why do these people that go through seminary hold on to those creeds so strongly? It doesn't make sense. I don't get it.
If you got a case biblically, build your biblical case.
And why would you use the creeds to build your case? I don't get it.
Well, and yeah, well, one of the good points in that interview is Gary was asking them, well, where in the creeds is it talked about that there's going to be a judgment of the living and the dead? And of course they didn't know. I already knew, 2 Timothy 4:1, Young's literal translation, Matthew 16, 27, 28, 1 Peter 5, 1 Peter 4, 5 through 7, verse 17, where the judgment of the living and the dead was about to take place. Paul says, he uses the Greek word melo. And in Matthew 16, for the Son of Man is about to come in the glory of his Father with his angels, and he's going to reward and judge each man according to what they have done. Verily I say unto you, there are some standing here who will not taste death until they see this happening. What he just talked about.
Right.
So as partial preterists that Gary is interacting with, Gary knows that, hey, as partial preterists, we're supposed to take the time statements consistently. And if these time statements mean what they say, then the creed is wrong, because it says that the judgment of the living and the dead is future. Paul said it was about to take place.
Yep.
And of course, I could predict it. I'm like, oh, they're going to deflect. And sure enough, totally deflected. The guy wanted to talk about 1 Corinthians 15. Gary did a fair job there, I think, as well. It's the resurrection of the dead and the dead ones. There's nothing here about, a biological body and so forth. But I actually,
that's the I've got a couple of partial preterist friends, and that's the hardest thing, is this whole physical resurrection is the hardest thing that they just can't get over it.
Yeah. I know. I think I'm going to do a video response to it. I don't know if I'll have time tomorrow. Hopefully I can, but I got my little shmoo, so that might be difficult. But maybe Thursday I'll be able to have some time to do a response to that. But anyway, we are 2 minutes over. You guys have any closing thoughts? Anything in the news that we can get to?
I was going to show this as a closer. Maybe not play the whole thing, but we'll see. My mouse is dying on me. Okay, here we go.
America's gold was supposed to back the dollar. Leaving the gold standard was the most costly mistake we ever made.
What was so bad about gold?
It kept them honest, but they wanted power. Kid, folks today think this is just how life's supposed to be.
What do you mean?
Back in my day, one job could feed a family. My mother stayed home, father worked, and we ate together every night. Didn't realize how good we had it. After the World War, they promised gold-backed dollars, but they broke that promise. They printed paper backed by nothing, funded wars we couldn't afford and shouldn't have been involved in. But France caught on and sent a warship to get back their gold. Truth is, if more countries followed, our vaults would be empty and game over.
I have directed the Secretary of the Treasury to take the action necessary
to suspend temporarily the convertibility of the dollar into gold. Turns out, when you fake the money, everything else follows, and you screw the next generation over. And it snowballs, kid. Prices shot up, paychecks didn't, life got tougher, and nobody knew why. We tried raising our kids the old way, but we didn't have the time or the money.
So you outsource parenting?
Yeah, I guess you could say we did. Government schools raised them, and the TV taught them bad morals. They learned debt, not savings, bought houses they couldn't afford, played video games, gambling, antidepressants, and crimes. Families fractured. Divorce rates doubled. Birth rates plummeted. Things got so bad, people started financing Chipotle.
Financing a burrito?
Yeah, it's getting bad. Obesity, people eating cheap slop instead of real food. We got softer, sicker, and lazier. A nation in decline. But it didn't happen overnight. When Nixon left the gold standard, we traded sound money for a lifetime of debt.
How will they ever pay it back?
I don't think they plan to. Both sides keep spending like there's no tomorrow and leaving the bill to your generation. We didn't get it right, but you've still got a chance. So, take the reins, kid. Hold your ground and don't give up on sound money.
It goes back to getting rid of the Fed, getting rid of the Rothschilds, which is what Germany did. And their economy was crap. I mean, it was gone. The Jews were stealing their farms, everything. And when they got rid of the Rothschilds, when they got rid of the whole central banking and the whole debt thing, and they had their own currency going. Now, look, Hitler was a bad guy. Don't get me wrong. Okay. I'm not pro Hitler. I'm just telling you the other side of the story you never hear. Okay. Why Hitler did what he did, why he got his whole country to do this.
Get behind him. Right.
Yeah. It's because they were watching the Jews steal their land. Okay. And everything that their previous generations worked hard to give them. So within 2 years, he had everybody working, and that economy was thriving without the Rothschilds. And, Tucker he had a guy on, and it was very controversial, but the guy said
that guy was really good.
What was the controversial line he said?
He said that he goes, he didn't come out and say that he supported it. What he said was that he understood why Hitler did what he did, basically.
Well, the controversial line was basically that we were on the wrong side of the war, is what I understand what he said. He said the quiet part out loud. He said the part that you're not really supposed to say. And so in the video you showed, the wars came through Rothschild. The wars went after Germany because of what Germany did because they couldn't let Germany get away with that, because if Germany got away with it, all the other countries would get away with it. And then that would stop their monopoly and their scam that they had been running. And so they punished Germany big time. And then they turned their sights on us, and they're doing the same thing with our country that they did with Germany, with the transgenderism, destroying us through, our morals, taking over the schools, the banking system, and making it illegal to criticize them. I mean, it's the same crap repackaged.
Yep. Yes, it is.
All right. Well, we're definitely over, and I've probably said too many potty words, and my wife will probably have some words for me. No? Okay, no. Good.
I just love it. I think it was way up here. Joe Fisher, he was like, I love it when Mike gets mad.
Joe, you're my man. Love it. All right, guys. We will see you next week. And if you have any topics you want us to talk about, email me or Facebook me and private message me, or Mark or Denise.
Yeah. If more on scripture or even the economy and Bitcoin and the Federal Reserve, I'd love to hear what people want to want us to talk about and share.
Amen.
Absolutely.
All right, brother. Well, we will see you next week. And Mark, on that whole conversation about grace, you might want to think about that Church of Christ some stuff. Think about some grace.
Well, yeah, and we'll talk about it later.
Okay. All right, guys. Take care. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next week.
You guys.
Bye-bye.